Welcome to the VCS News Podcast. This year, Valley Christian Schools celebrate a milestone, 50 years of education, community, and impact. Today, we're honored to be joined by someone who carries both the history and the future of our institution, our president, Mr. Mike Pecchia. Thank you for being with us as we mark this moment.
Thanks for having me. I'm real excited about this opportunity to speak to you guys. You talked about, I've been around a long time. You just said I was old, and I am old. I've been here a long time. So I'm excited about sharing some of these things with you guys. And I want to compliment you on the questions that were prepared. Really, really good questions.
Thank you. Okay, so our first question is, when you reflect on the past 50 years of Valley Christian, what stands out to you the most?
You know, I think the word that comes to my mind is faithfulness. And I think back, 50 years ago when a church, folks from a local church decided they wanted to open up a school, and they did it in this building, and it was unoccupied. And to look back then into where we are 50 years later, it's the faithfulness of God to our school, the faithfulness to the people that have come before us.
Yeah.
And I always take the time to note that, we're standing on the shoulders of people that came before us. None of us would be here. I wouldn't be here. And then I also think about the faithfulness of the people that are currently serving, because it is a calling to be here at Valley Christian School. All of our teachers, all of our staff, it's a mission, and they could all be out making more money somewhere else, teaching somewhere else, and they choose to teach here because God's called them to that. So it's that faithfulness of people before us and the people here now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay, so the next question is, what do you believe has been the most defining moment or era in shaping who we are today?
That has to be the Ohio School Choice Program that started in 2005, because that's who we are today. So, the biggest obstacle to private education or in a Christian education has always been tuition. Families can't afford to pay tuition, so it's always been for people that could afford it. And in 2005, early 2000s, the legislature of Ohio started the Ed Choice Program. And that opened the door for anybody, whether you could afford it or not. And it was specifically geared to the city of Youngstown. I'll never forget an experience. The first family I met with, and I met with them outside the cafeteria, the outdoor area we have. And it was in the spring. And I'll never forget, and the mom started crying because she was a single mom with 3 kids, and she realized she could go to the school. Before, you could never go to a private school. Right. So, and really that has opened the door. At that point in time, we had about 330 students in our school. And, there was no way for families because we're in Youngstown. And it opened the door. Today, we're serving nearly 700, all of our students are on through the Choice or other scholarships. The state of Ohio has 4 scholarship programs. But every one of our students attend that, and they wouldn't be able to. So it has changed who we are and who we serve today. And that has been the biggest impact, I would say.
Nice. How has the mission of Valley Christian remained consistent, and where have you seen it evolve the most? That's
a great question. I think it's remained consistent. And you look at our mission, we use the word transformation and when I think about transformation, that has probably always been consistent. That's a big word. I often say it's an audacious word, but I also know that, if you want to affect the lives of young people, especially the lives of urban young people, that maybe don't have all the opportunities that we have that we're experiencing in Youngstown, education is the key. I mean, people will say, you got education is the key to your future. Yeah. But we combine it with the transformational power of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So to me, that's what's been consistent is connecting great education with God. Because I don't care what you can accomplish in life, if you're not connected and you're not serving God and you don't have a personal relationship with Him, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. So I think that's been consistent. I think what's evolved is who we serve. And it kind of goes back to what I just said in our previous question about who we serve. And this goes way back. Like you guys said, I'm old. But, in prior years, because my kids all went here. Right. So I really was, so should my son was born, my oldest was born in 86. So it would have been the early 90s that we started to come here. But, but it was only for families that had a Christian household. We actually had to get a pastor referral. Mm-hmm. So it limited us. And so one of the things we felt was God wanted us to serve everybody. And so in Christian schooling, there are two types of schools. Generally, they talk about being a discipleship school or being an evangelical school, even evangelistic. And discipleship terms serves more of Christian families. So these are Christian families who want a Christian education. So we kind of changed, and we became more of an evangelical school. Because, Jesus said in the parable of the wedding feast, if you remember that story, the guy created the feast, went out and invited all of his guests. Nobody came, so he said, listen, let anybody who wants to come. And that was kind of our change, and I think that's what's evolved. What has evolved is who we serve today. And I feel like we are really, serving our mission even more because of the families that we serve. So.
Yeah, one thing I can say is I've been going here since first grade, and I've heard that word transformation throughout all these years.
Great.
Definitely through chapels, orientations,
Great.
Everything I've heard of.
That's good to hear, and that's where it comes from. It's because listen, the Holy Spirit is one. That's the transformational power in all of our lives. So it's great.
Yeah. Next question is, what accomplishments from recent years make you the most proud?
Well, that's a tough one. There's so many in the recent years. So if I don't know how you define recent years, but I would we still talk about it, and I think it's the way we navigated and addressed the pandemic. I mean, that was, and you guys all remember it. I mean, that was obviously major for everybody. And I look back, and I'm proud of how that was navigated, and the leadership of our school navigated that process for you guys, for our families, for our staff. And coming out of that, and listen, it's still. We're still dealing with some of the effects of it, and I'm always a person who says, I'm tired of hearing people blame COVID for everything, and I'm not doing that. But at the same time, it was a major change that really, So the way we navigated, the way we've come through it, and some of the things, the teacher shortages that it created, after COVID, people quit teaching, people. So all those are all things that affected us, and I think the way we came out of that is something I'm still proud of. Still working our way through it. Other things, specific things, I got to be honest with you, the marching band was one of those moments. I remember, guys, when we started football, and I remember sitting in the stands for our first football game, Friday night. And I'm like, and I'll never forget it because we were Connaughton Valley or something. Some farm town down south, and we're sitting, and there's a hill right next to the field with a bunch of cows on it. I'll never forget this, but it was a beautiful night, and my brother was with me. He was on the board at the time, and we kind of looked at each other and said, can you believe we're here at a football game?
That's crazy.
And that was a moment. And the marching band is kind of the same thing because we always wanted a marching band.
Yeah.
And to see the marching band on the field was one of those those hey, we've arrived moments, or one of those things where we were able to get what we accomplish what we wanted to. And I think another one is honestly the technology advancements. We really made a commitment to go. You guys all have Chromebooks and one-on-one Chromebooks, and those kind of things were some moments that But I will be honest with you. My most proud moment is every year during senior week and commencement, because some of you guys I've known. I don't know you. I don't know as many. I don't know you guys as well anymore because I'm not in the day to day. But when I see you guys walk across that, I see the awards you're getting, the accomplishments you're making. Signing day is to me, everybody's got a plan and a purpose. But then having you guys walk across the stage is always a proud moment for me because it's still a huge milestone. Graduating high school is your first milestone of the rest of your life. And it's still huge. And the fact that we helped you accomplish that. And not just, the practical things, the education things, but more importantly, God being part of your experience. Yeah. That will always be the proud moment. And I get to do that every year.
That's good. Okay, next question. What makes VCS different than other schools?
I think on a wider scale, we are considered an urban Christian school that serves mostly minority, low-income students that are in a school district that hasn't served very well. That makes us unique, really, all over the country and in the nation. Most Christian schools serve a more of a suburban population, a higher income population, and it's for families who want that Christian education. There's not a lot of schools like us anywhere that serve an urban population, and I'm proud of that. So that, from a wider standpoint, that makes us very unique. I think on a more personal level, I hope that we're a school that kids, we talk about love more, expect more, be more, and I know you guys know that. But for me, it's making sure those aren't just words. I want kids to feel that they are loved more. I want kids to feel that you are held to high expectations. I mean, what you guys are doing in this class is wonderful. It's great. It's a high expectation. So in feeling like you can still be yourselves, I think there's that fine line and that feeling comfortable. And I walk the halls and I feel like kids are comfortable being themselves, but yet, having expectations. So having you're not just a number. You're known, you can accomplish things. And I think it comes through our staff who really, really care and love you, because that's where the love more comes from. The love more comes from those of us who serve you guys, staff, teachers. If you're not feeling love, and because we're Christians, I mean, the Bible says they will know we are Christians by our love. And you guys feeling that love, that nurture, that care, that we really care about you. I hope that makes us different. And I'm not saying other schools aren't like that. There's a lot of great schools, but our smallness, our personal touch, I feel like that makes us unique.
So going off the last question, what is your vision for Valley Christian over the next 10 to 20 years?
Yeah, that's, first of all, 10 to 20 years is a long time, girl.
It really is.
And you know what? We're actually right now in the middle of a strategic planning process where we're kind of getting together and we're looking at that. We're looking at that future. We're kind of creating our vision, our new vision, because I think, again, coming out of the pandemic and just kind of getting back, now it's time to say, okay, let's look forward. So I would say our vision, right? Is some of it is facility related. You guys know we just put the modular building in here with 4 classrooms. We still don't have a lot of room for the kids that we have as we move forward. So I think it's looking at a facilities plan and how are we going to have the facilities, the physical facilities we need to serve you guys, not just for education-wise, but the opportunities like this. This is podcasting is still relatively new. So my vision is hopefully we are able to give you guys those kinds of opportunities. Listen, the AI world, the STEM, we are in such a fast-changing world. My vision and our vision is that we can navigate that well and provide you guys with the things you need to live in that world, because that's your future. I'm old, so I have to get help with my phone for my kids. So.
That's okay.
But enhancing those opportunities in those areas for you, because it's fast changing.
Yeah.
It is fast changing.
And a lot of students are coming out here, out of high school and going into those type of fields too. So.
Yep, that's the future. Yeah. So so it's and preparing you guys for those opportunities is important.
Okay. Speaking of opportunities, what opportunities excite you the most as we enter our next chapter? The facilities one is an important one. Is the buildings. We're as you may know, we're not just the classrooms that we're doing, but also we are looking to get an outdoor sports complex facility. As you guys know, we go down and practice, and we don't have our own field, and so that's one of the things we're looking at is providing our own outdoor facility that we can use, but not just us, but the community can use. I mean, one of the things that I believe that as God blesses us, He wants us to share those resources. They're not our resources; they're His. So we're excited about the opportunity to partner with the city of Youngstown to develop that area, where we practice football, and to see what we can create in terms of not just football but other activities. I remember the days where we had baseball, where we had softball, where we had soccer. Well, those are all outdoor facilities. So, I'm excited at the possibility maybe we can bring those back and have opportunities to develop those programs for our youth. And that's one of the things
we have to do. So that's kind of I think and an exciting thing too is as we're going into that next chapter, looking at some of the future leadership. Again, I'm old. I've been here 20 years. Hard to believe. So I'm excited about the future and who's going to be sitting in this seat and developing. And I'm excited that we have a lot of young people serving here, and that really excites me too.
As we celebrate 50 years, what message would you like to share with alumni who helped build this institution?
First one is thank you for that, for being part of us, for making us who we are. Our alumni do that. The other one is we haven't forgotten you, and I think that's one that's always on my heart. Is as we talked about how our school has changed. The school that my kids went to, the school that Mrs. Pixley went to and Mr. Pecchia went to, it's different than the school today. And I sometimes it's different. So we changed the name. Listen, let's not forget, we changed the name from Youngstown Christian to Valley Christian School. So I think for some of those that were part of Youngstown Christian, they may not feel as connected, and I understand that. And so we haven't forgotten you, and we want to reconnect with you because this is still your school. We may look different, we may be different, but it's still your school. So thank you. We haven't forgotten you, and we want to reconnect with you.
What would you say to current students who still carry our legacy forward?
Be more, and I know that's okay. We're all tired of hearing, we all hear it, and I'm glad that. But you know what? For me, it is be more. Live your life with a God-inspired purpose. I mean, if you're going to go out there and be a graduate of Valley Christian School, then have a purpose that is God-driven to serve Him and to serve others. Listen, we want you all to be successful. We want you all to make a lot of money. But we want you to serve God and serve your community and serve your family. So, it really isn't just a word. It is be more, but live with intentionality. If I had to tell any young person that word, live with intentionality, because you don't get it. You don't get do-overs. You don't get. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's hard. I was just talking to my daughter last night and talking about. I can't believe I'm as old as I am. And where did all those years go? You guys are going to be in that. So live with intentionality, but be more with a God-inspired purpose to serve God and serve others. That's what I tell them.
That's good. So since you said that you've been here for 20 years,
Yep.
Could you tell us about your career here at VCS?
Yeah. Now I've been here as president for 20 years. Exactly.
Okay.
Actually 20 years. This January 4th was when I started in the year 2000 and what would it be 6. But I was involved before that, and I always talk about the school. So making the transition, I was a businessman. I graduated from Mercer High School, went to YSU, got an accounting degree, went into the accounting field, and spent the next 20 years in accounting field, and then basically we built a new building back in the new high school that you guys were in. We built it in 2000 and started in 2004 or 5. And it was that time that, all of a sudden we have this new building and needed somebody to run it. The board was looking for it from a business standpoint. Yeah. And I was in a transition in my life. I had the company that I had been working for. We just sold it. And I was like, okay, God, what's next for me? And that's why I always tell kids, make your plans, but leave room for God to change your plans. Because if you're sitting at YSU taking an accounting class, and if you'd have told me I'd be sitting here today at head of a school, I'd say you're crazy. That's not what I ever planned to do. But God had different. So my involvement in the school started earlier than that. My kids went here. So when my kids were school age, we wanted to send them to a school that had the same values we as a family. So it really started back in '86 or early '90s when our kids went here. Then I became a board member. So while I was in the business field, I became a board member. Then I became president. And I would say probably my career here, it's probably been one of growth and change. Because when I started, we had about 330 students. And because of the Ed Choice program that we talked about, we're now at 700.
Yeah,
and
that brought in a lot.
And frankly, girls, we wouldn't be there because people wouldn't have had the ability to come here. So nothing that's not speaking to anything I did. It was just an opportunity that was presented that we took advantage of. So growth was a big, change has been a big part over the years. I'm grateful in my career that I had really great people. I learned a very smart message from a person that mentored me when I was in the business field and working in corporate. And he's told me that he wants to be the dumbest person in the room. So, which means surround yourself with people that are smarter and better than you. And that's probably the best thing I've ever done, is because I have, through my careers, going back, starting with Dr. Reichert and some of the staff that were here, Shelly Murray, now Mrs. Ball, and the principals that we have. I'm in the room with all those folks, and I'm the dumbest one here, and that's okay, and that's good for me. So it is. We've been able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish. Because of the people that I've relied on, and God has blessed me with that. And so it's been a lot of change, a lot of growth, and that's probably how I would, growing not only students but staff, buildings. I mean, we opened the Lewis Center, we bought the Pleasant Grove, so a lot of those kinds of things.
Okay. Throughout your whole presidency, what has been like the most meaningful moment?
Hard to say the most. I probably would look at I look back and I look at moments that I feel like hey, we've arrived. We've broken a barrier that maybe wanted to. So I'd go back to, obviously, starting with the new building, the new high school that we started 20 years ago. The whole ed choice in navigating, and we were one of the first schools to jump in with both feet.
Nice.
I mean, we didn't hesitate when that ed choice opportunity opened up. We jumped in it because we knew that was God. ACSI accreditation, our first accreditation, was one of those moments where, and I'll never forget, girls, when and again, remember, Christian schooling was generally suburban, higher income. Listen, white families, okay. So I'll never forget when they were coming to give us look at it. I don't think they ever thought when they walked in, there's no way this school's going to get accredited. And I was so proud of the moment that when that visit came, and I remember the impact we had, and so that was one of hey, we've been accredited. There's not a lot of schools that are accredited, and there's not a lot of urban schools like ours that are accredited. That was a big moment. Yeah, I love sports, so I must admit that when we made our first regional or district, we won our first district basketball title, and back in those days, all the schools went to we went to Struthers, so all of the schools our size would go to Struthers, and the tournament would start, and it would be it would last a week. And that was the first time we won, the first time we were in it. It was who is this? And it was who's this Youngstown Christian School? Why are they, and the same with football. The first time we met, so those are always moments that kind of, stand out as memorable. There's a lot of them, but I guess those are kind of the couple of the big moments.
And finally, in one word, what does this 50-year anniversary represent to you?
Gratefulness. I think that goes inside, talking about the faithfulness, but grateful That's to God. I look back at this school that I brought my kids to 30 years ago, maybe more than that, and look at where we are now and the impact that we're able to have and the kids that we're serving. And I'm grateful for God. Grateful for that I had the opportunity to be part of this. Grateful for, again, we talked about grateful for the people that came before us, and really grateful the people are here that are with us now. So I think gratefulness is what it's sums that up.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Pecchia, for your leadership and sharing this moment with us and our listeners. You have been here for a long time, so we just thank you. Join us next time for the VCS podcast.